Alright, not going to show all of this, but a $3 battery strap from Amazon. Just a matter of connecting it to your batteries and pulling them out. And these things are heavy. Fortunately, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and they take these at the recycling center. No charge. So, loading these up, and taking them to recycle. Alright, lead acid is going to the lead acid graveyard. So, no more nasty batteries. So the batteries are gone. Once you get the batteries out of this thing, it's really pretty simple. It's a pretty simple system, you can see. So down here, as I'm looking toward the back on the left, that's the solenoid under that cover. The controllers under that cover. I assume there's a voltage reducer under this cover as well, because I think this cart must have one, because I have lights, and the lights are not going to run off 48 volts. It's got to be 12 volts, and I don't know of any way to hook up the lights to just one battery because they're all tied in series. So it's got to be a voltage reducer. I can't see it anywhere. I think this wire probably runs to it. So I'm gonna take off this cover and see if it's there, because I think I have everything figured out except for why I would need to put a new voltage reducer on here. It seems like that there should be one already here and I would just use it, but I don't see it. Anyway, I'll figure that out as I go. But what I'm going to do is clean this up. It's got a lot of corrosion here from those batteries. I was going to take my metal mobile portable bandsaw and cut these mounts off, because my battery is this new battery is about 11 inches wide, and we'll just say 20 inches long. So at 11 inches wide, it's not going to fit just down in that slot. It's going to set up on top there. So I was thinking about cutting those off and just mounting a piece of wood, flat wood, but I don't think I'll do that, because the battery is also, if you look here, let's just call it 9.5, 10 inches tall. So here, even to the top of these eyelets where the battery tie downs went, I've got plenty of height, even if I set the battery on top of those. So they're still 12 inches. So it's plenty of height so that the seat won't sit on top of the battery. Now I don't want to set the battery on top of those two things, so what I'll do is I'll just clean this up and I'll mount some wood in here that raises up a mounting space to the top of these eyelets to set the battery on. So I'll do that and then show you what I've done before I mount the battery in there. But I'll just leave those. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going back to lead acid, but there's no reason to cut them off if I don't have to. So I'm going to clean this up, maybe get some paint and paint a little bit where there's a little bit of bare metal and rust. Clean it up inside really good. Take this cover off. Take the cover off the solenoid too, just to show you what that is. mount the wood in there, and then come back and show you where I am. Now, the wiring in here is pretty easy. I'm going to be taking this plug out, and it has these 3 wires that all come out that run over to the battery. This red wire here is, again, that sort of sensor that senses whether we have a cord plugged in to charge, and if so, it won't let the cart run. But what I'm going to do is cut this and just wire it straight to the positive side of the battery, because I don't need that anymore. So I'll take this whole thing out to put a new one in. But we'll get there in the next part of the video. Okay, so I cleaned out the bottom some, got all the corrosion out, scraped the rust, and coated it with some black paint. And so I was going to raise the floor up above these tabs, but I've decided I'm just going to cut those off. All they are anchor points for those lead acid batteries. They don't serve any other purpose. I'm not going back to lead acid, so I don't need them. And I have the tool to make short work of that. Right here, handheld bandsaw. So I'm going to cut those off, and then I can put the floor in here a bit lower and make it a little bit more secure. Okay, well, I got the floor in, got the charger port taken out for the new one. Still a mystery here, though, as to where the voltage reducer is. I don't think this one has one. Under this cover here, there's the DC motor controller. There's the solenoid, and that's about it. So I'm assuming this fused wire here is for lights, but I don't see where this wire runs to any voltage reducer on this cart. I don't see how the lights would run off of 48 volts. So I have a voltage reducer, but I'm just not sure how to connect it on this cart. So I think I'm just going to put the battery in, hook everything back up the way that it was, and we'll see what happens. I haven't been able to find anything really online about this. I see a lot about voltage reducers and wiring them in, but I don't know how you wire one in when there's not one here to start with. So anyway, I'll let you know if I figure it out, but I'm going to move forward and see how it goes. Okay, so here's where we are so far. I've put the charging unit, I think I'm going to put it over here on the driver's side. It's a good place to mount it. And then the wire to the battery will run around behind the battery and over here to the right. Should be able to plug in. I can tie up the wire around back really well. I put the LCD screen over here. Wasn't really a good place to mount that. So what I ended up doing was this bracket here was curved and I just straightened it, and I'm going to mount it right there. I think that'll be a good place. So I was able to drill a hole back here and then run the wiring down underneath the cart and come up over here with it. Plenty of wire here then to plug this into the battery. With my charger here, now I've got it close to where I'll mount this charging port out here. Now I'm going to have to make a mounting plate here to put this in because obviously it doesn't fit, but that shouldn't be too difficult. And I really don't have to have that to start with. I can just set it inside here and lift up the seat to charge, but I'll make a plate to put that on. So now got everything sort of run. It's just a matter of putting that battery in here, making sure everything, I'll hook everything up, make sure everything works and fits before I bolt down the charger or the battery. So now this battery, it's small but it's heavy. So, you know, it's take 2 old men or 1 young strong man to pick this thing up. There's nobody here but me, so it's going to be 1 old man doing it. I wouldn't recommend that, but that's why it's going to have to happen. So I'm going to set the battery in here, hook everything up, see if it runs. If so, then I'll bolt everything in place, do the wire management, and we should be good other than making a plate for that charger and bolting it in. So let's see how it goes. Okay. That wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Alright, good. Sets in there good. Should have plenty of plenty of room for the seat. So let's hook this puppy up and see what happens. Okay, so here's the complete install. Got everything wired up. Got my wires sort of tied up, somewhat temporary. I'll clean them up a bit more later. But everything wired, the battery's on. It's cool. I actually have already driven it about 3 miles. I wanted to take it out for a ride before I recorded anything, just in case it exploded or something. But it seems to be doing good. Over here, you can see I still need to mount my charging port there. Need to make a template. But everything is running well. I'll sort of show you. So here I've been about 3 miles. My battery is at 95%. Everything's showing normal on the battery. It's not really a lot faster than it was with lithium batteries, but it seems to have a bit more pickup. I mean, I go from stop, it accelerates a lot faster, to put it that way. But the top speed might be a little bit better than the lead acid, but not a ton. I mean, I'm not doing 40 miles an hour or anything, but that's okay. That wasn't the purpose, it wasn't the point. So I'll be interested to see the range I get out of this. And my lights and everything are working, so I don't know. If anyone knows an explanation for that, let me know in the comments. As far as I can tell, there is no voltage reducer on this thing, and I didn't put one on it. So either the lights and the blinkers are working off 48 volts, or maybe that DC motor controller might have something to do with stepping down the voltage. I don't know, but there is no voltage reducer on here that I can find, and I've looked everywhere. But if it keeps doing like this, I think I'm going to be happy with it. It's a good upgrade. It wasn't really that hard at all.